Have you ever had one of those nights where everything goes wrong? You are stressed, your brain feels cloudy, and no matter how hard you try, you just keep making mistake after mistake. Well, let me tell you a story. A few years ago, it was midnight in Montreal. The temperature was minus 40. I had just come back from visiting a friend, and as I stood on my front porch, I realized I did not have my keys. I looked through the window, and there they were, sitting on the dining room table, completely out of reach. I ran around, tried every door, every window, locked. Now I could have called a locksmith, but at midnight, in that cold, that could take hours, and I had an early morning flight to Europe. My passport and suitcase were inside. So, desperate and freezing, I grabbed a rock, smashed my basement window, crawled in, patched it with cardboard, and thought I will fix it tomorrow. Expensive, sure, but at least had made it. Or so I thought. The next morning, on barely any sleep, I was stressed about the broken window, the freezing weather, and my upcoming meetings in Europe. And here's the thing, when you are stressed, your brain releases cortisol. Cortisol clouds your thinking, but you don't realize your thinking is cloudy because, well, your thinking is cloudy. So I got to the airport feeling frazzled, and that's when it hit me. I did not have my passport. I had to race back home in the snow 40 minutes each way. By the time I got back, my seat had been given away, and I was stuck in the back of the plane, right next to the bathroom, for 8 hours. No sleep, just regret. During that flight, I had a lot of time to think, and I realized something. What if I could prevent these kinds of disasters before they happened? Later, I shared my story with Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman, and he told me about something called the pre-mortem. You have probably heard of a post-mortem. It's when experts look back after a disaster and ask what went wrong. But a pre-mortem flips that around. You look forward and ask what could go wrong, and more importantly, what can I do now to prevent it or at least minimize the damage. So, how do we do this? Let me give you a few examples. At home, designate one spot for the things you always lose: keys, glasses, passport. It sounds simple, but science shows our hippocampus, the part of the brain built for navigation, remembers fixed locations best. That's why squirrels always find their nuts, and why London cab drivers have huge hippocampi. So don't fight your brain, use it one spot every time. When you travel, take a picture of your passport, driver's license, and credit cards. Email them to yourself. If they get lost or stolen, replacement is 10 times easier. When you are under stress, remember your brain is not at its best. Cortisol clouds judgment. That's why a pre-mortem is so powerful. You don't want to be making tough choices in the heat of panic. You want a system that saves you before the panic hits. A bigger example, medical decision. Let's go deeper. Imagine you are at the doctor. They tell you your cholesterol is high and they recommend a statin drug. Most people just say, sure, give me the prescription. But here's the problem. Do you know the number needed to treat? That's how many people need to take the drug before one person is helped. For the most prescribed statin, 300. That means 299 people take it with zero benefit. And here's the kicker, 5% suffer serious side effects. That means you are 15 times more likely to be harmed than helped. Now, I am not telling you whether to take the drug, that's between you and your doctor. But I am saying this, practice the pre-mortem. Ask the right questions before you decide. Why this matters? Under stress, your brain shuts down systems it does not think you need, digestion, immunity, even logical thinking. That made sense when our ancestors were running from lions. But today, it means when you are stressed, you are not rational. So train yourself now. Do the pre-mortem. Ask what could go wrong? How can I prevent it? If it does happen, how can I minimize the damage? When I got back from that trip, the first thing I did was install a lockbox outside my house with a spare key inside. A simple system so I had never smash another window again. Look, none of us are perfect. We are all fail sometimes. But if we prepare for failure before it happens, we can turn disasters into minor inconveniences. That's the power of the pre-mortem. Think ahead, plan smart, protect yourself. Because when stress hits, your brain won't save you, but your systems will. If you found this useful, hit that like button, subscribe for more mindset and growth strategies, and share this video with someone who needs it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.